Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the Ricmotech World Challenge here at Daytona International Speedway, presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. I'm Austin Knight. I am joined by Mary McLeod with Alex Simpson and Dennis Branch in production booth. Larry, it's been a long time in the making, and we're finally here. 3-class racing here on the Ricmotech series, and it's LMP2s, GTEs, GT3s. It's the World Challenge, baby.
Absolutely. This has been a kind of exciting build-up. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen the old GT series. That's old and gone. We've got the new World Challenge series. 3 classes now kind of in the fight, bringing in the LMPs, which we hadn't seen before. We've got a good group of them out here tonight. We've basically got a little bit of a flavor of the Rolex 24 coming in, and with that real event coming up just a little over a week away, we get to see a bit of a preview right here in our own Ricmotech series, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it is our little sneak peek in our little roar before the 24. here in the Ricmotech series on Apex Racing TV, and I gotta say, I am super excited. It's a 1 hour 15-minute race, so it's a little sprint race format here, but I gotta say, I am extremely excited and giddy. Ever since they told me that this event was happening, I've been giddy so much just to see the session even pop up in the league sessions, and I can't wait to see this green flag drop.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, obviously, with the existing classes of the GTEs, the GT3s, and now you bring in the LMP2s coming in with the higher speed and with the additional strategies of pit stops coming in, as that's going to play through. And with the new cars this season, and I talk about cars, we know that we've all been excited about the Lamborghini coming into the GT3s, but I think there may be another one that you're pretty excited to see that might be making its debut here in the Ricmotech series tonight. Maybe,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No. You're gonna say it, so I'm gonna let you do it.
No. I know you've been dying to.
Oh, you mean the best car ever in the world to ever be introduced?
That's probably the one.
You mean the C8R?
That would be the one. Yes.
Yeah, we're talking C8R right now. Yeah, that Corvette. There was a when it was first introduced, when the GT series was in mid swing, there was a massive push by me and Peter in the commentary booth to get that C8R into there, to the point where we changed our names to include it. And yeah, that got over smoothly, and well, they listened.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see that. It'll be going alongside the Porsche, the BMW, and then of course over the GT3s, we've got Ferraris, Mercedes, and that brand new Lamborghini that everyone's been raving about. It's been quick. Folks I've talked to that have bought it and tried it say it is quick as anything. We'll be seeing some of those running here today, so very excited to see that, mixing it up with our LMP2s out there that'll be lapping around at all kinds of crazy speeds at the classic Daytona as the sun's going down tonight. It's just going to be really exciting for us. Great way to kick off this World Challenge Series.
Yeah, it's going to be a very entertaining series to watch. I hope y'all are going to have a good time. We got GTEs, we got GT3s, and we got the LMP2 class. And what I'm really excited for is the multi-cars in each class. The GTEs, like different battles through different cars and car performances and their strengths and weaknesses, is just something that I nerd over. And I love on how some of them go a little bit faster in the corner, some of them go a little bit faster on the straights and everything. But we're here at Daytona Road Course for y'all who are watching who have never been around here. We got a track guide for you.
Welcome everyone to Daytona International Speedway here in beautiful sunny Daytona Beach, Florida. Great to have you with us as we provide your track guide today around this 3.56-mile road course. We will start our guide today from the beautiful 31-degree banking here at Daytona. That's right, the world center of racing, where speed and agility and endurance is what it's all about. Coming out of the NASCAR Turn 4 or Turn 12 of the road course, we're going to pick up some speed heading down to that stripe here at Daytona as we cross the starting line and head down into Turn 1. Boy, this is a busy corner, heavy on the brakes here, down through the gears. With traffic, this corner can be very difficult. You want to get a good launch up off this turn here as it takes you into Turn 2. Very slight little S section, and then down into Turn 3 here, the infamous International Horseshoe here at Daytona. Tight apex corner. Want to get right out to the outside there to get a good launch, get some speed up through this very fast internal section of the road course, around Turn 4 here, and ultimately down into Turn 5. Heavy braking here, late apexing corner, let that car rotate, get right back to the bottom, and track it right out to the outside. This will bring us to Turn 6 here. This will bring us right back up to the banking as we come down off the brakes and get right back to throttle. Very difficult there, off camber and very slippery. Tough turn to get that traction to bite as we come back up onto the 31-degree banking through Turn 7. Of course, this section right here is the best opportunity for overtaking your competitors, as there is an enormous amount of slipstream here at Daytona. And coming down into the bus stop, you'll see a lot of changes in position happening here. Down through the gears, smooth entry into 8, through 9, through 10, out of 11, and then ultimately up the banking into Turn 12 as we pick up speed once again to head down that very fast front straightaway. Boy, you'll see a lot of overtaking happening here at the ends of, at the end of a race, certainly for that finishing lap, as this is where it all takes place. Drivers 2, 3, 4 wide sometimes, trying to take that victory and walk away with a win from the World Center of Racing. Thanks so much for being with us. There's your track guide for Daytona International Speedway.
And welcome back live to qualifying in the Ricmotech World Challenge here at Daytona International Speedway. After that wonderful track guide, we're looking at Derek Holland, a few other drivers around the field. Andre Saunders in that BMW GT3 prototype. Stealth black, I must say. And you can see some of our drivers in the right-hand column.
Yeah, a couple of them running the camera feeds on them tonight, so we'll get to see their joy as well as potential frustrations firsthand. It'd be kind of cool. Great to see their setups, of course, as always.
Yeah, Jeff Jacobs, one of our normal. Brennan Herron giving us a good look at that chromed beast Lamborghini right there, that 45 GT3 machine. Oh, that's a beauty of a car.
So looking at a little bit of, as we get qualifying underway here, going back to some practice times. In the LMP2s, the practice times were only a little over 1 second delta from first to last across those 8 drivers. So I expect a pretty tight race there in LMP2. That'll be interesting. And then if you look at the GTEs, again, very tight among these drivers. Just about a 1.5 second spread there covering the entire field. And then when you get to the GT3s, again, probably about 2 seconds covering the whole field. So there's going to be some really tight racing across all 3 of these classes here tonight. Which is just over the course of this long race, at a 75-minute race. It could come down to pit stops. Going to come down to who can make the least amount of mistakes in such a long format. And trying to stay clean, and staying clean, part of that is getting a good qualifying position and getting into turn 1.
Yeah, turn 1's going to be very tricky. It always is. It's that hard left, very gradual braking zone, and very tricky on the brakes. I know the GT3 cars have a bit of the easier time with the ABS, but every other car, you're going to be seeing them modulating the brake throttle and the throttle, trying to get that car around, and you might see a little bit of unfortunate lockups going in there as we are having our first times come in here, and these are the LMP2 cars, with Andrew List putting in the first time and the fastest time right now. And there goes Elvis Rankin in the GTEs to put down his fastest time at the 1:39.3.
Yeah, that is quick. Already in the 139s here. Like I mentioned, though, it was tight in practice.
Yeah, and as everybody comes along right now, puts down their times. We got a good spread of GT3s and GTEs and LMP cars, and I must say that we could start seeing those times separated with each other, but the times that these top guys are putting in. Elvis Rankin 3/10 ahead of Allen. Andrew List 2/10 ahead of Arthur Chan, and in the GT3 grid, that one is very tight. It looks like a 1/10 gap to second place with Kevin Carlisle sitting on top ahead of Randall McGrew.
Yeah, they were down into the GTEs were down in the 38s in practice. So again, as they get through their qualifying sessions here, expect to see some times continue to drop. But just looking at those LMPs, just 1/2 second covering the top 6 there. That's just top 7, 8/10 covering the entire 8. That's a really tight mix there in that group.
Yeah, really tight. Look at the time right now, 1/100th of a second separating Arthur Chan as he takes pole position right now with 10 minutes to go in qualifying.
Look at, I believe that's Mike Dam there on the screen. running in his Porsche.
It is. Yeah, Mike Dam, his first lap wasn't a valid lap. He did cut the course, so they are going by the iRacing standards of if you cut the track, it's invalidated. So he's currently on a second lap right now. I believe it was the bus stop, which is probably going to be the bane of a lot of drivers' existence if they're going for a clean lap as Mike Dam puts down, comes across the line, and that one was also invalidated.
He's running out of opportunities here.
Yeah, they got 4 laps to do it. Andre Saunders on his second lap right now in that BMW GT3. They come across the line and jumps up to I'm sorry, that is the BMW GTE, not GT3.
Right.
I've gone crazy. I was going by the grill. Which I've learned never to do that right now because the GT3 prototype, the GTE, look exactly the same in a way.
We get a look there at, should be Andrew List. Currently with a top time so far in the session, top time, of course, in the LMP2s, just ahead of Arthur Chan. Down in the 32s.
Andrew List, 32.9, just a bit ahead of Arthur Chan, and they both have one more lap to fight out for this pole position fight. So we take a look at our LMP2 and GT3, I believe our leader.
And you can see GT3. Arthur Chan, of course, with the cam there, looking at the real Arthur Chan on the screen.
Yeah, right under his car camera. He's also sharing his LMP2 screen with Russ Ruddick.
Live,
you can see
live look in there from Canada.
Yeah, glad we get our cameras up there in Canada, and all of our drivers right now. As here comes Arthur Chan. Andrew List went into the pit lane. Obviously wasn't happy about that. Does Chan take it?
No.
Does not improve. Almost identical lap time to his previous lap of a 1:33 flat. That was a 1:33.03 for Arthur Chan.
So they're close, extremely close. It's to where, you could be, Arthur could be a 10th up in a couple, one sector, 2 sectors, but losing it in another sector when you're that close. That's usually the way things go. These guys are going to be right on top of each other. Yeah.
These two are going to have a fight throughout this entire race, and with Daytona, it's not going to be just them. I believe the top 5 are going to be within an entire pack, and when they hit the GT3 traffic for the first time, it's all going to go into its own. Can these 4 minutes go by faster? I just got the biggest smile on my face right now, which is just, please. It's going to get crazy.
Great shot of Mike Taylor there. You got Jordy Fike here, again, in that beautiful new Corvette.
Yeah, I can't get enough of that Corvette car. Even if I'm not driving it, it's just so beautiful to look at.
It
and
looks a whole lot better in race car trim than it does in street car trim. I'll leave my opinion at that.
I'm going to second your opinion. My neighbor actually has a C8, and I sat in it, and I'm just like, the race car version is better.
It looks really good as a race car.
Yes.
Sounds good too.
It sounds amazing. But
riding on board with Jordy.
Transition to mid-engine definitely helped out Corvette and their performance. So, especially all over the 2020 season, that was a very historic year for them.
So Jordy currently sitting 15th in that class of GTEs. Hoping to get himself moved up a little bit. Out here currently,
Elvis Rankin, new fast time for the GTEs, 139.124. So we're looking at Schwenke. He was diving into the pit lane. Randall McGrew, one of the top 4 Lamborghinis. I think he may have ran out of fuel.
Just coasting along.
May have ran out of fuel or might be serving a slowdown. As majority fight, definitely not out of fuel. He comes across the line through the tri-oval. Does he improve on his time? No, he doesn't. Let's take a look at our GT3 leader, John Allen. As he brings that Lamborghini down to pit road speed limiter and gets ready for the race. And these guys do have to strategize on how they're going to be entering pit road today.
Absolutely.
Because there is a definite, just like in all of our Ricmotech series, there is a pit lane, and these guys are going to be going for some extra fuel. Not sure about the tires, but since this is a 75-minute race, I'm not expecting tires, but that's a big lock of Cameron Martineau.
So, a couple of things to note here that we talk about being, again, it's kind of a brand new series relative. Obviously, the Ricmotech has other series, and it's just kind of born out of the old GT series, but to remind folks that drivers earn a bonus point. This is a point series. They get a bonus point for starting on pole in their class. So right now, you can see right now each of our 3 classes has a provisional pole sitter. They're each working out there hard to try and maintain that position because that'll earn them a pole position, will earn them a extra point. If they can lead a lap, that'll earn another point. If they can have 6 or less incidents during the race, in a 75-minute race, that's not easy to do. That'll earn them yet another bonus point. And throughout the season, they can earn up to 9 bonus points. So trying to rack those things up early in the season and making sure you get to those bonus points throughout the year, maximize where you can. The drivers are going to be trying to do that and get those early if they can. So that's kind of a big deal. Also, I think I noted here in the series that in this race, perhaps, that the LMP2s might need 2 stops in this race.
Ooh. That is very interesting. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be
They can go for, estimated about 30 minutes for each fuel tank for an LMP2. We have a 75-minute race.
Yeah, with an hour or 15 minutes, that is definitely going to be halfway. So fuel management for the LMP2s going to be crucial. And when they're going through these GT3 cars and GTE cars, it might be a... so we got a EOL out there for one of our drivers. And they're going to be set to the end of the line after dropping below the yellow line. And... that is going to be very unfortunate for that driver right there, and not sure who that was for, as our one of our graphics was blocking it, but we're going to try to get confirmation on who it was. There's Kevin Ford and his BMW. Funny thing about Kevin, came in and quote, no practice at all today, but he's going to give it his best. And it's always great to see Kevin out there.
He's been working hard to put some of the things together around this race. I know that he's been working hard to make sure that the all the other things that you don't necessarily see all get to happen. And we appreciate his help because he helped us with some of our commentary notes, as well as all the production notes and things that go on behind the scenes.
Yeah, production notes, BOP notes, everything about the notes. Kevin's the man to talk to you if you want some notes on this series.
All right, it looks like a lot of drivers may have completed their laps here as we're just a few seconds away from the end of qualifying before we line up for this grid. And again, this is the first race of the season, the first race of its kind here in the Ricmotech World Challenge Series with the 3 classes now competing. And great to see 8 drivers joining us with the LMP2s. And that's going to be exciting to see them just ripping around this track and coming up behind these GT3s and then the GTEs. Really mixing it up is going to make this pretty exciting.
Yeah, 44 drivers in total, about actually maybe a 45 if Bobby Childs can get back into the car. I see him in chat, but I believe he's had an issue. Andrew List takes pole position in the LMP class, followed by Arthur Chan. Tyler Guillemette in third with Chad Parker, Dean Cox, Brian Rees, Brandon Whitworth, and Derek Holland in the 8th spot in the LMP2s. Over to Larry for the GTEs.
All right, looking at the GTEs. On pole, the GTEs, you got Elvis Rankin right on the outside. There will be Mike Dam. On the second row, Nathan Manning and Cameron Martineau. On the third row, Shunsuke Kuno and Jason Allen. Third row is going to be Mac Miller and Jennifer McDonald. On the fourth row, Travis Schwenke and Tony Kernan. Fifth row, Evan Wood and Jose Doyelo. On the next row, Andre Saunders and Jason Ashton. And that'll be followed by Jordy Fike and Baron Glover. Last row in that group, Russ Ruddick and Kevin Ford.
Taking pole for the GT3s is Clifford Eben and John Allen in second place with Kevin Carlisle, Randall McGrew in fourth, followed by Kyle Burney in fifth place. And behind them it is Evan Pecool, Chris Thorman, Jeff Jacobs, Jason Burney, there they go, Steve Daniels, Brendan Huron, Edgar Santinelli, Greg Brockway, Mike Taylor, Scott Brooks, and Cameron Tucker in 17th, followed by Michael Key. At the end of the grade with Bobby Child starting for the pit lane if he can get... Nope. Bobby Child, it will not be starting this race. His engine has blown up and he's now cooking nice little steaks up there in the infield off the smoking engine block. Or his PC.
All right, so the drivers are getting...
hopefully Bobby's PC gets fixed for next round.
Let's hope so. So the drivers are getting the last-minute instructions about the start procedures here. It'll be a split start with the LMP2s and then the GTEs. Then, of course, the GT3s behind them, each getting their fair share start, which means with 3 classes now, it's going to be even closer before the LMP2s catch up to the back of the field and start fighting through, and before the LMP2 leaders catch the GT3 leaders. And that's when the excitement to me really gets going, is when leaders start passing leaders.
When leaders start passing leaders who are battling for the lead, it's going to get a little bit more of a part push and barge, especially if everyone is just keep going, as we're starting to see everyone start rolling off. You're going to start also seeing some separation in the grids. The GTE cars have now just started rolling off right now, as we got our LP2s on the left side. They're just now entering turn 3. GTEs now just entering the bus stop chicane. And our GT3s, well, they still got to wait until they get the go-ahead from our race marshal. So 3 race starts here today. Oh, man, I hope the boys in the production booth are going to be on their tiptoes. And I know Alex and Dennis are always on their toes. So here comes the GT3s out there. But lights are off of the pace car. Once those stands start on the left, they can go, and they must go before the grass starts in the tri-oval. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready, because it is a World Challenge beginning here in the Ricmotech World Challenge Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. It's green, and we're going racing as Andrew List puts the pedal to the middle of the LP2 field is underway.
What a jump he got, as he's going to dive into turn 1 all by himself. They're going to go single file. But behind them, the GTEs are already starting to queue up as the LMP2s have nice gone single file. They're playing nice there. We'll see if the GTEs do the same thing, as they are paired up nicely, coming around the last bit of the oval here.
And here goes the GTEs. Elvis Rankin holds the lead as they cross the line through the tri-oval, as the LMP2 cars absolutely clean start and racing into turn 1. And here comes the GTE field.
They're not quite as clean. There's a little bit of side-by-side action already going on there.
Oh, we got an LP2 round in the wall. That's Tyler Giomet.
Already a little bit here with the cold tires. First lap out. But your leaders are going to be like this for a while, I suspect, here without the Chan and Andrew List. These guys are nose to tail already as they go out on the banking towards the chicane.
And here comes the GT3 field. It's a very deep dive for most of the Lamborghinis leading. And you can see the different light packages being used by some of these Lamborghini drivers. You got some of them using the sprint package, some of them using the blinding endurance package, and it's getting very tight right there on that hairpin.
It is really tight there in that GT3 field.
But just look at the, speaking of tight, Arthur Chan and Angelis side by side for the lead right now, coming out of turn 4, and to complete the first lap of the World Challenge here. And the first lap of this 1 hour, 15-minute race. Chan on the outside, List on the inside, side by side they go, heading into turn 1. Arthur Chan just holding around the outside, but look down the inside. Andrew List going to take it down low and take the overall lead.
I think they both wanted to lead that first lap and have the bragging rights for it, but in this case, it's going to be Andrew List.
it was going to be Arthur Chan came across the line first, but heading into turn 1, it was Andrew List out of the exit. The starting line is a bit before the braking zone, so that one did go to Arthur Chan. Elvis Rankin leads out the GTE field by 8/10 so far, and oh no, Arthur Chan's had an issue. Chan's off the track.
To catch up to that one in a minute. As you can see, our GTEs, as they come back on the infield for their second lap.
And just look at the GT3 field, nose to tail with each other, very tightly packed. I know this isn't a NASCAR race, but it's certainly looking like a NASCAR race on this. Oh, look at the third place of McGrew trying to push his way down low on Carlisle. Carlisle being held out there to dry on the outside. They're going to go side by side through this little S section right here. And the 33 of Bernie in one of the rare Mercedes in the field, sending it down the inside of McGrew for third place.
Showing the Mercedes still has a little bit to fight here with these Italian Lamborghinis, or I guess German-ish Lamborghinis. Showing that the true German car can actually still fight with them. And he's going to stick in the mix. We'll see how well he's able to manage his tires in the long run. But he's certainly going to stay right here in the middle of this field, Lamborghinis around him.
And Lamborghini's all around him, and he's stretching that Mercedes legs. And, it's going to be a very odd sensation when you see some of the older GT3 cars passing the proper newer GT3 cars. We see Elvis Rankin flashing the lights as he's just pulling way farther away from Cameron Martin and Mike Dan right behind him.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened, how he was able to build such a lead, because for qualifying and practice, there was not a huge gap on times between these guys. Mike Dan and Cameron Martin were very, very close on time to Elvis. Elvis, though, here in his first lap, able to clearly build that big margin, and that's kind of what you'd love to be able to have. Then you have your pick and choice when you start fighting through any kind of traffic up ahead. And when you've got 44 cars on this track, traffic will definitely be an issue. We'll see if Mike Dan and Martineau can make any kind of ground to catch up to him. But
there was an incident in the GTE field, and I believe that might have been up there near the front. There might have been a little bit of packing up with a few cars that might have started around turn 6 or to the bus stop. All right, yeah. We also have a few drive-through penalties going on. Car 727, and that's Kevin Carlisle changing lanes before the start-finish line. So the second place in the GT3 field getting pulled over. Oh, man, what's that?
Dicey here in the infield here in the GT3s.
There's a car on the outside that they almost smacked into them. And Kevin Carlisle needs to make this lap count because he's going to have to serve his pit stop and his drive-through penalty. Yeah, it's not. You can't do a pit stop during this.
And he just earned himself another extra pit stop that you can't do anything with except serve the time. And hearing more penalties coming through as well.
Yeah, the race control team, the race marshal, very active today as car 55 gets landed with a drive-through penalty. And that would be Clifford Eben in the Lamborghini. And he's currently 13th in the GT3 field. They're going side-by-side right now. We're looking at Tony Kernan with McDonald and Kuno side-by-side right behind him.
Keep in mind, Cliff Eben was your pole sitter in the GT3s. He plummeted quickly, and now we're earning a penalty on top of that. This is not going his way at the start of this race.
Yeah, I'm guessing that incident responsibility is why he's down there in 50, not 55th, that's his number, 13th place.
Yeah.
And he's got another incident under review involving Clifford.
Really is helping his chief rival there, John Allen, who's leading that pack.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, John Allen definitely going to be Clifford's wingman right now. And speaking of wingman, it's looking like Andrew List and Dean Cox now. Our LMPT leaders have got a little bit of traffic, and man, this is going to get very dicey right now.
Already caught the back of the GT3s here on lap 5. Didn't take long, did it?
I hope none of you are very sensitive to flashing lights because we're about to see a bunch of flashing lights from LMP2 trying to look down the inside as Dean Cox go. But that Lamborghini is sat on the inside and on the outside, and he's trying to play it safe and wait for the right moment as that Lamborghini just gets out of the way. But there's just more traffic ahead for Dean Cox. And now Brandon Whitworth right behind him is dancing on the tail, and Andrew Liss is pulling away. He went through that traffic nicely, but this is where the LMP2 just stretches lanes, going down the inside, going on the outside, all the way up and down the banking, just trying to find his best lanes and carve his way through the field. And woo-hoo! Yeah, a lot of action right now. Look at Whitworth. He's already on the gearbox of Dean Cox for second place.
And he's going to get a better run out of here as well, coming out of the bus stop.
Dean got held up by this 263, who was just given a drive-through penalty for instant responsibility with Clifford Evan on the previous lap. And here comes Whitworth. He's in the draft. He's looking for it.
Keeping an eye on Arthur Chan, we know that he had a bit of an off. He did manage to maintain. He's a couple seconds behind these guys, currently fighting. He just got past Tyler Gillemette. Those two are battling. Just a few seconds behind this battle we're watching.
Yeah, they got a Mercedes and a Lamborghini ahead of them. They're looking down the inside. There's a flash of lights from Dean Cox. Is this saying, hey, I'm going to send it down here. If you get in my way, I'm going to fight you after that. I'm pretty sure that's the actual interpretation of it, but that's what I'm saying when it usually is. And, well, second and third in the LMP2s, and fourth just past third place in GT3s.
You were not kidding about this all working in favor of Andrew List, as he's gone from about a 1 second gap to over almost 3.5 in the last lap, just because of the traffic.
Yeah, the traffic's been working in his way, and when you're just on your own, it's a lot easier to manage the traffic around you because they just have to worry about one LMP2, not two LMP2s racing for a position, because that makes the GT3 cars nervous, that makes the GTE cars nervous, that makes the LMP2 cars a little bit more hasty and trying some more risky moves, and that's going to eventually hold not you up, but all the cars around you up because you're battling it. Oh, we got a Corvette off in the grass and taking a jump right there. Is that Russ Ruddick?
Might have been. He's plummeted down there.
I believe that, yeah, that was Russ Ruddick. He took a big jump in the grass.
Well, he's rolling again.
Well, he did get some airtime, so the Flying Tortoise Motorsports Corvette did get a little bit of
he was in fact
in the name.
Flying Tortoise. Gotta have the rim shot there,
yeah.
Thanks.
It's hard to do on a push-to-talk with anything my wheels in front of me.
Little battle here between
Haran and Jeff Jacobs. Jacobs, one of our face cam drivers, might get a onboard shot of him. It's Haran looking on the outside. He's got a lot of speed coming out of these corners, but Jeff Jacobs holding it out that inside line. Florida native Jeff Jacobs, a big Gator fan, as you can see by his car, just absolutely, well, reminiscent of a Florida Gator. And, well, he currently lives in Pennsylvania, but his heart is down here in Florida. And this is the track that he likes, but not this part.
A little late on the brakes there, and that'll cost you. That's when you start driving in your mirrors there. I think he got caught doing that.
Yeah, driving in his mirrors, being blinded by his mirrors by that bright endurance package of the Lamborghini right there.
Yeah, you get caught doing that, and usually what happens is you think you end up out braking yourself, and you get it braking deep and giving the guy the spot. I think he got caught there doing the exact same thing, and now maybe he'll be better at the chaser than the chasee.
Some drivers like being behind somebody. They get a better view of when they're going to brake. It's a lot safer for them. They don't have to worry about being dived down in every single corner. Just gets them into a better spot. But I feel like that Lamborghini just had some advantage right there, and Jeff is just trying to fight that advantage with his own driving. As let's take a look back at this battle for a second. It's an LMP2 pack right now.
It looks like Miatas. It's a pack. They're so tightly packed together. This is insane. It just from second back to sixth, just covering just a couple seconds here. But this 3, 4, 5, 6 battle, these guys are just nose to tail.
Yeah, this is some modified Miata, I must say. Though, I believe Mazda is looking into an LP category, or they were in a LP category for some time, for a bit. And so, Miatas do kind of belong up here. This does look like a good Miata race, but man, this is a good race. And also an update on Clifford Evan. He was our GT3 pole sitter, but he did get an EOL at the start of the race. So that's why he was down there, but he also had an incident, which, drive-through penalty, so not the best race
All
for him.
making sense, but still not having the day he wanted, I'm sure.
Yeah,
He
no.
signed on to his rig earlier tonight.
When you sign on to the rig and just like, do you have an expectation that it's like, I'm going to be the best, going to do everything? But we do have a replay of Tony Kernan right now, and this is involving the numbers. Oh, it's a big lockup for the Porsche.
Porsche doing Porsche things.
Yeah, Porsche's brakes, just showing you. Sometimes those brakes are a little bit too sensitive, and the GT3s, they don't have to worry about locking up the brakes that much as they have ABS. As, oh my, three wide here.
There's a whole lot of bull right there in that
I love a good bull ring, and, well, these guys throwing in an absolute bull ring. Herlon, Carlisle, Taylor, Santinelli, Tucker, as it's a Lamborghini pack, as Edgar Santinelli diving it into the pit lane.
The others will continue the fight as they're going to go diving into turn one. And, getting this treacherous turn one. But these Lamborghinis look extremely stable, very quick through that turn one complex.
As there's the Corvette breaking up some of the Lamborghini party. This is actually Jordy Fike and Evan Wood and Mac Miller, and that's not a Lamborghini, that's a Corvette up there at top. Sometimes the angles just throws me off.
Back here in this GTE battle. The Corvettes and Porsches battling it out. Pretty good battle here. This is a little, a lot of the Porsches in here, but look at the front six all dominated by Porsches, but behind them it's a pretty good intermix with the BMW, the Corvette, and the Porsches.
Currently dominated by Porsches, because remember, some of these cars have a little bit bigger fuel tanks, some of them have a little bit smaller, some of them have different fill rates and, well, fuel capacity. So I know the Corvette is a little bit more economic on its fuel consumption, so they can go a little bit longer than the Porsches, but it's not going to make that much of a difference throughout this race that, oh, my car can go 5 extra laps more than yours, and in a perfect world that would be amazing, but in iRacing, in this race, with it only being 75 minutes, it'll be about, well, my car can go 1 extra lap than yours. So it could be cleared out of a incident of a tight pit lane exit, which the exit of the Daytona of this pit lane here is so crucial to a good outlap that it is so easy to mess up and not only ruin your race, ruin the race of a car coming out of pit lane, or ruin a race of a car coming out of turn one if you hit that bump a little bit wrong way and shoot your car across the nose of somebody else and get a lot of smack on the radio. I'm not talking from personal experience.
Yeah, it's a bit of a treacherous deal coming out of the pits here. We're with 44 drivers tonight. We're going to see a variety of lines coming out of there and see who can do it right and who can do it wrong, and who can blend themselves into traffic the right way. There at this corner where you just see the LNPs come ripping through. That's that blend point. Who can do it right?
And we got a penalty for Tyler Gilmet. Incident responsibility drive-through for the 6th place in the LMP2 car, and well, he's not going to be happy about that.
The race marshals very, very quick to hand them out tonight. That's several we've seen now. Maybe 4 or 5 different penalties given tonight.
I think it's 6 if we count qualifying.
Yeah. So
which also, I believe, was our first penalty we've ever seen in qualifying being delivered.
Yeah, very high standard of racecraft, the high standard of control they're expecting out of these drivers, and frankly, given the high standard of driving that we've seen between the old GT, now this World Challenge Series, the sports cars, the sprints, we always see high levels of driving skills, and I think they're holding these drivers to that level and expecting that much out of them. So,
did you see what Jordy Fike just did? He held that inside line because he knew that LMP2 was coming by, and he did that in two ways. If he stayed on the outside line, he could have been compromised on that entrance and let himself fall to that Porsche of Miller right behind him. But since he held that inside line, Miller couldn't do anything, and that LMP didn't impede him as much on corner entry, and he was able to keep that gap. And also, Miller and Schwenke are very tight on each other's gearbox. Miller goes a little bit deep right there. Schwenke's got that inside line. Look out for that LMP2 right behind him, dancing around. He's going to be looking down that inside line. Nothing for Miller right now. But off this exit, it's going to get very tight right here.
There's a couple more coming behind him. This is only the first of many of these LMPs to try and intermix themselves here in the middle of this GTE battle.
Well, he's going to have the clear head right here. And, saw a little bit of a lockup smoke up there.
This is sort of best case / worst case scenario. You've got a 3 and 4 car battle mixing it with 3 and 4 cars.
And they were side by side for a little bit off of the exit as we run aboard Brandon Whitworth, 3rd place, trying to catch 2nd place as the two GTEs right in front of him are battling up there for 8th place. And man, they're fighting it out.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the middle of the battle. You're the GTE cars. You're Jordy Fike and you're Miller. You're thinking, hey, the faster car's responsibility is to get around me. You're going to keep that battle going. If you're that faster car, you're thinking, come on, slow cars, get out of my way. But hey, they got as much right to that track as you do.
Fike has had an issue. They've fallen down, and we were just watching them. I think they might have had an issue in the bus stop.
Yeah. I'm hearing apologies. Hearing apologies over the radio, so that's usually a sign that somebody may
side
have
by side through the bus stop.
Somebody may have tried going side by side through there. Yeah, that's a treacherous feat in the best of days.
Yeah, the iRacing handbook. If I can just bring that baby out, dust off of it a little bit. The blue and yellow striped flag. It's the faster car's responsibility to get past the slower classes. The slower classes are not required to get out of the way. And we do have that replay coming up for y'all right now. But if I get yelled at in IMSA race for being a slow GT3 driver, or just slow in general, and somebody says that get out of the way, I do have that on a hotkey.
Yeah, that's not even side by side. That's just a little bit of faster entry, thinking the car in front of him was going to be faster. The car in front of him just wasn't. And
yeah.
I suspect there'll be another one of those race marshal penalties coming across the radio in a minute.
Number 7 coming up for us very soon.
Unfortunately, but yes.
Oh, we got another incident as well. That's also involves tire geomet. And the 27, that's a GT3 car. That would be Chad Parker, who's in the pit lane right now. Brandon Whitworth clawing through the field of the Porsches. And just look at this LMP2 fight we got going on between Whitworth and Reeves.
And knowing that Arthur Chan is right behind them.
Yeah, and right on the bumper of the Lamborghini, almost side by side with each other. Lamborghini forced all the way to the bottom of the line. This is going to be very close on the brakes. That's the LMP2 cars going around the outside of the Lamborghini. Usually it's the other way around here, but now it's like a roadblock.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. This part of the track gets narrower and narrower, and you start putting 3 classes across. And I think that's what they're facing.
Yeah, 3 classes across. So it's actually 2 GT3s.
I'm seeing a Ferrari. I'm seeing a Lamborghini. There's GT3s covered. I see a Porsche in there. That's a GTE. Then I see LMP2s. We've got them all.
We got them all. We got them tight, and we got them all around. Come down to Daytona parking lot and choose some pick here.
Whew, that was definitely snug. And
that
all
was
three,
snug, and everyone lived.
and all three of these, again, you got Whitworth and Reeves, we can see on the screen here, just 2 tenths apart, but Arthur Chan's just a couple tenths behind them, so you got all three of them there in that shot.
Chance getting up. Chance on them.
He got a really good run onto the oval there, onto the back straight, so he's really in the catbird seat here. They all want to continue to work, catch up again with Dean Cox, knowing that Andrew List is sort of getting away slowly. But as we've seen, all it takes is for Andrew to catch himself a little bit of some bad traffic, and things come right back together again.
Yeah, bad traffic is definitely not going to be helping him. He's trying to chase down Ashton with Kevin Ford right behind him as well. And here comes Ford, and it's a BMW on BMW. Big B fights. They're going to go side by side in the oval, and hopefully no LMP cars coming right behind him, because that's going to be a very tight squeeze. I always got to get a Beamer joke in there as they're bump drafting through the tri-oval.
It's a big draft behind those cars. And 2 of them, no less.
It's the second big Beamer joke we've made today.
Trying to catch that little slick Corvette there in front of him, but have to work together to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to catch those very small Corvettes, especially just the speed they have on the straights. And the corners of those BMWs could have that Corvette with just how they handle. As we're looking at Shunsuke Kuno in 8th place, driving that 28 Aquila Racing Porsche ahead of Miller Schwenke.
Yeah, another 3-way very close battle. This one's now over to another 3-way battle here in GTEs. A couple of them. We were just showing the one a few moments ago, and now we got this one here. This battle's all over the track right now.
Yeah, battles all over the place. Got battles in LPT like we have right now between Whitworth and Cox, nose to tail for each other. And Brandon Whitworth has just been ahead of, well,
I think I mentioned Reeves there.
Yeah, that is Reeves. I got confused a little bit, but yeah, that's Cox pulling away as Whitworth is just dealing with that 23 of Brian Reeves right now. And I think Reeves is just playing this safe because he knows that Whitworth is coming to some traffic, and if he could just get some advantage out of that traffic, he'd easily make that overtake.
Yeah, he doesn't want to waste 2 of their times and fall further behind Dean Cox here in this infield stuff. Just wants to maintain pace. It's a little bit of working together, I guess, here in the infield without slowing themselves down unnecessarily.
Got it on board, looking back to the rear end of Whitworth and right on board with Reeves. As he's looking on making this field, and we always love a good side-by-side comparison of which each driver's mirror is looking at what each driver's eyes are looking for in a good side-by-side battle. As they're heading up into the bus stop chicane, and they caught right back up to Cox. And look at that line from the bus stop for Reeves.
Great line for Reeves. You can see it here. You can see the run he got.
He's looking on the outside line. There's Lamborghini down low, almost getting into the gearbox right there. They're side by side off the ace, but the draft with Cox ahead is just allowing Whitworth to stay there. Brandon Whitworth just continuing to stay in 3rd place, and Reeves is just like, come on, how many times? It had to be now.
I was wondering why he wasn't passing it, and when he went by that slower car, I realized there was no room to go by because it was a slow car they were catching. Oh, is that contact?
Almost contact right there. A big wiggle for Whitworth, and Reeves has got onto the brakes and
Chan's in the pits.
And Chan dives into the pits.
First of our LMP2. First of anybody in the pits.
Yeah. First up non-penalty.
Yes.
As side by side for GT3, Schwenke and Miller. Well, this is going to be tight off the exit. Almost getting into each other, almost rubbing wheels down the inside. That 16 Orion car down low. And Mac Miller stays in 10th place. But man, those Porsches and that Porsche and Corvette rivalry definitely going from real life all the way over to iRacing still with these 2 drivers. So close to performance, so close to how these cars handle with each other. And, well,
yeah,
definitely.
that was tight. That was some good line. That was a really good line on the outside there. as he was able to make his way around one, and then the two of them nearly making contact, going through the wiggles there up to the horseshoe, but good racing to maintain all the way now onto the back straight, and they'll continue it on as we take a look over now at the LMP2s going side by side now. Our Reeves
They don't have the draft. They don't have the draft of Cox to help out Whitworth, so Reeves around the outside. He's going to just barely be ahead of him at the line, but then Whitworth takes the braking line a little bit later than Reeves. Reeves didn't want to go side by side through turn one, taking that smartly as Derek Holland goes into the pit lane now. And these guys are going to start running low on fuel. Whitworth down low of the 101 GT3 leader of John Allen, who is leading by 3 seconds right now.
That might have been what Reeves was doing as well before. These guys might have been trying to save fuel, and it's been also part of the strategy of sort of sitting in line and not being too aggressive at time, knowing that the way these cars are, trying to just get an extra lap out of them, be able to pick your spots for your fuel stop. Let's wait and see when Andrew List, the leader in that class, leader overall, when he does decide to make his pit stop, as we're now working lap 18.
I think it might be about right now. He's got a good gap, and he's approaching that point, and he's actually slowed up by 4/10 right now for Andrew
Sometimes
List.
all about that track position. You know, if you're stuck in that traffic, if you come up behind these guys, for example, and you're that LMP2 car, you can see them as you come out of the bus stop. You realize you're going to catch them next lap. You might just dive right in. Whereas if you just cleared a pack like this, you might think about using that extra lap to get a full good lap in unchallenged before you come in for your next stop.
Well, Andrew List continued for another lap this time as we entered 28 minutes, and we got a note in our driver's notes that the LMP2s are looking for 30 minutes of fuel. So he does have another lap, but it's a big off track. A little bit of an off track right there for Andrew List, but I feel like that is just a opening corner incident and nothing that should be looked into. But Andrew List on his own.
It cuts into his lead though, doesn't it?
I think it's increased his lead. He went from 10.5 seconds to 11 seconds. So
yeah, let's see how that works out for him. Yeah. Meanwhile, back in the GTE ranks,
Mac Miller sitting on the back of Schwenke and Kuno ahead of him.
These guys continuing this battle.
Porsche, Corvette, Porsche right now. And Schwenke just doing as best he can to stay with Kuno, who is incredibly fast. And one of the overseas drivers we have racing in the land of the rising sun of Japan, as Schwenke cuts that corner a lot, throws up some dirt. That's going to be a very dirty windshield for Miller right behind him.
Part of the strategy, make it so he can't see you. Keep chucking some dirt up on his windshield. List appears to have stayed out for another lap.
That's risky. Actually, a lot of drivers have stayed out, and they're past 30 minutes, so I'm not surprised that Cox, Whitworth, and Reeves has stayed out, because, remember, they've been nose to tail for a while. They've been going through traffic. They're able to lift and coast around, so they could be able to save. Oh, my goodness, Miller! Almost offset by Arthur Chan right there. He got off into the grass, and Miller somehow saved it. And there's that replay of List. And he did spin it.
Yep, just a little bit aggressive at the apex of the horseshoe there.
But that didn't hurt it. That didn't hurt his time at all, because I believe Cox, Whitworth, and Reeves all behind him were caught up in traffic, and so with just the amount of time that he's lost on his own,
yeah,
he was pretty much saved by the traffic.
Very quick recovery.
Or our timing tower was completely lying to us, as that gap has now dropped to 4 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm wondering as well, because
that was a timing tower glitch. It's now jumped up to 10.
It's jumping around a little bit, but waiting for these guys to take that stop.
And there goes List into the pit lane.
That's what I was waiting
Followed
for,
by
and right
Cox,
behind him.
Whitworth, Reeves.
All four.
we might see Tyler go in.
So this will be interesting because here we are 31 minutes through a 75-minute race. They'll go into the 30 minutes, going to leave them about 15 minutes. So is this the stop where you just take a splash and go for track position, or do you take a full 30?
If it's a splash and go. You know, they could do a splash and go, get some track position, and maybe upset Andrew Liss with that 8-gallon splash. And we're going to find out who's going for that 8-gallon splash or who's going to go for that full tank splash and go for that little spurt at the end. You know, I kind of want to see an 8-gallon splash by one of these drivers, but look at their times. They're all going for that full tank. Yeah, Tyler just got stopped into his box right now. And the first one out of the pit lane is Andrew Liss, followed by Cox, Whitworth, and Arthur Chan. He already went into the pits at lap 16. But Andrew Liss and Dean Cox win the race off pit row, followed by Whitworth, Reese, and Tyler.
Cox able to pick up a couple seconds maybe in that pit exchange. Not a significant amount, but just maybe a couple seconds. Okay. Well, we still get the second pit stops are going to be key too, because the other strategy you could do, knowing you have to make an extra stop, is you could take a full load now, and then your second stop's a splash and go. You could take a partial and sort of split the difference as well, right? You could do a partial load now and then a partial later, or just take a minimum now and take a full load later. You can kind of do it either way, depending on what you think your traffic's going to be like coming out of the pits.
Speaking of traffic coming out of the pit lane, we got a Porsche coming out of the pit lane right into the GTE field, and it is a wide field as well. We got two GT3s up there, and if you've seen a traffic jam on the highway, this is what it looks like on a racetrack.
It's a very expensive traffic jam right now.
Very expensive, and a lot of stress going through A, some of these team owners, and B, some of these drivers. But I can tell you who's having zero stress levels right now. Us enjoying this race. And speaking of zero stress level, look at Arthur Chan. Look how calm and composed he is right now.
Honestly, he just looks like me working on a spreadsheet, working from home. I mean, just sort of
there's
like
a smile. He's loving this. He just tried swinging around the outside of Cox for second place, and he felt very nice about it. Had a big smile right there. As he's dealing with some forced feedback right now. It's just camera's shaking around, but it's a physical life when you run with a direct drive wheel. I can tell you that. And I know exactly the place where you can get a good direct drive wheel. That is Ricmotech.
Absolutely. Get yourself set up with all of the good things at Ricmotech. Time for an upgrade.
And speaking of Ricmotech, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be right back for the Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back live to the Ricmotech World Challenge here at Daytona International Raceways. We're currently looking at, some interclass battles and passing a few other classes. That GT3 Lamborghini in the 45 of, I believe that's Haran right there. He was actually able to stay with the GTEs on the straight And to stay in the draft as Kevin Ford holding down the inside line of Andre Saunders for 14th place, as these two are going at it with each other.
Yes, they are.
Oh, no, Kevin Ford's off! He's got a little bit off on the brakes. You saw a wiggle from him, and I believe that was just on his own.
Hard to tell. They were really close. Couldn't tell if maybe there was a bit of a touch or even a bit of a net code there.
It might have been net code, but there was no touch that I could see, so it was either net code or just brakes, braking.
Well, I tell you what has gone on as we've jumped over here to our LMP2 group is that Chan has closed up on Cox and Chan have both closed up on Andrew List, and suddenly our top three are now just a second and a half apart, as Dean Cox, Arthur Chan can now see Andrew List dead straight ahead in front of them on the track.
Andrew List went a bit wide in that braking zone. Here comes Cox and Chan as they're closing in on a GTE in front of them.
And I'm still not convinced that Whitworth's out of this either.
List sends it down low.
He's just trying to make through that traffic there as fast as he can, knowing what's on his heels. They're going to catch him at the bus stop
up there.
Yep. And Dam is not going to. He's not going to make this hard for them because he's not battling anyone right now. But still, he's an obstacle.
Yeah, and Mike Dam definitely an obstacle, but he's being a good obstacle, especially for Cox, because Andrew List is pulling away. We got a replay
quick replay here of the GTE battle of our BMWs, and all by himself.
Just on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw him be he was wiggling on the straight. So
yeah,
that little short shoot,
just under braking.
He was just unstable, which is odd because that BMW is a very stable car.
So Andrew List, they're able to get out of the bus stop a little bit ahead of these guys. Managed to just a little bit of daylight now between himself and Dean Cox to Arthur Chan. But still just a second and a half separating the top three there in LMP2.
There was a Lamborghini at the entrance of the bus stop that they caught, and Andrew List is just barely staying ahead of him. And speaking of another car, Andrew List has caught up to Elvis Rankin, and we have the two leaders of two classes side by side right now. Get the photo copiers out right now because that is definitely a photo-worthy moment.
They just caught Mike Dam a moment ago on the previous lap, and now they're catching to the first place in GTE and Elvis Rankin, showing you that about that 4-second gap it currently sits in GTE between Elvis and Mike.
Yeah, Elvis definitely managing the traffic better than Mike and just able to put in lap after lap after lap of just dominance. As here's Mike just holding out that outside of the Lamborghini, and he's got to give a little bit of room to that LMP2 right behind him.
He's trying to get around a GT3 while trying to give up a spot to the LMP2 all at the same time.
Doesn't have to give up a spot to the LMP2. This is just up to Whitworth. But if you want to be quick, you kind of want to give a little bit room to the fast car behind you, so you aren't holding them up and you aren't holding yourself up just a little bit.
You never want to be the one holding them up, but sure, you want to expeditiously kind of help the other faster class and get out of their way if you can.
And if you're an agent of chaos, you want to give the leader a little bit of a tough time, then the guy was chasing you a little bit of a lesser time. And sometimes you want to play devil's advocate.
Well, Chan and Cox have got a little bit of work still now. They're dropped a little further than a second down from Andrew List, but it's still a very close battle between these three.
Yeah, Dean Cox losing the pace of Andrew List through the traffic. And as they come into a little bit of clean air, let's see if Cox can close in on it. But I'm watching Andrew Cox and Arthur Chan off this throttle. They're getting a little bit loose as the back end has a little bit of a wiggle. And it just seems like they're getting a little bit more aggressive every time as they just see Andrew List in the relative.
And Andrew List already had that moment right before the fuel stops. We saw him have his loose moment at the horseshoe there. So maybe these guys haven't had their moment yet, and they're dancing with that devil. And if it happens to them, they're going to lose all the momentum, and they'll be their own 10 seconds back. So they've got to be careful with that.
A lot on Jeff Jacobs right now, and this GT3 car of Jeff Jacobs is going to be right after the bus stop. Oh, hello, Brakesville. Angelis as he gets hard on the brakes. Here comes Cox and Chan.
They were completely unobstructed, were Cox and Chan. In fact, if anything, they got a bit of a draft coming out of the bus stop.
Yeah,
And our top three are nose to tail.
Oh, here we go. Here comes Chan. Chan's got a massive run. Chan's looking on the outside. Here comes Cox. Cox trying to make it. Chan wants to make it 3 wide, but Cox around the outside of Andrew Liss. Andrew Liss holding down the inside line. Cox trying to hold around the outside, but Andrew Liss holds it down low. Here comes Chan on Cox. Chan can't make it work. Cox stays in second place. It is nose to tail LMP2 racing here in the Ricmotech World Challenge. And oh my goodness.
Dean Cox had the
nuts.
nose ahead as they crossed the start-finish line, so he's going to get credit for leading the lap. So I think officially we've had 3 different drivers leading this race in the LMP2s, but not able to hold it as they went into turn 1. In fact, he drops back a little bit, but they're still nose to tail here as we approach the just past the halfway mark now in this race.
Yeah, nose to tail, and it's going to be nuts. Little bit of a off exit for Cox right there as Andrew Liss gets an amazing exit to come back onto the O with the draft coming off of Andrew Liss' LMP2. It's going to be helping him. He dives down low to get out of the draft range for Cox. That's going to be helping him a little bit, but here comes Chan. Is Chan going to try to go down low? No, he's going to lift off, save a little bit of fuel because remember they have another stop to go, but another car in the bus stop.
Oh no!
And oh no! Big contact for second and third. Chan and Cox are in the wall, and they made contact with another car. And Brandon Whitworth is going to be storming through the field now. Whitworth, I'm going to assume he's going to get in second place. Yep, there he goes. Oh my goodness, and that is multi-class racing.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, the that car was just that GT3 car, I believe it was, there in the bus stop.
That was no one's fault. It was just he got pushed wide by Andrew Liss. He stayed wide.
Yeah,
and it's just
he was trying to stay out wide. I think he got himself offline a little bit. And unfortunately, he got a little bit loose there, and just everybody else had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate right there. We're going to get a replay for y'all very soon. But my goodness, that is extremely unfortunate for Shannon Cox.
Turning our attention over to the GTEs and the GT3s, as we get a couple here in the GT3s on screen now. Let's see a replay here. As you can see, yep, he got pushed wide. He ran wide. Not really so much push, but he ran wide in the Ferrari. And unfortunately, he was able to...
Wait. Was that Cox's teammate?
I didn't notice. Was it?
They had the same paint scheme.
Well, possibly. It's unfortunate. He went wide trying to be good, but unfortunately probably should have just kept his line and stayed where he was until they got through the bus stop, even though it would have slowed up the leaders. The bus stop's a tough place to let someone by.
Yeah, bus stop is one of those spots where you're just like, I don't want to commit to this.
Yeah.
You could make a move through there, but it's just so tight. It's more like one of those one-line things, but when you're just see the leader, you're sniffing the blood in the water. You just want to go for it. And he had the chance to go for it. The GT left completely the spot open. It's just the GT got loose right in front of him. A completely unavoidable incident right there. And, well, that is very unfortunate. All
right, so taking a look over at the GT3s going on right now, as we've kind of been looking a lot in our LMP2s. Let's take a look at some GT3s, and our leader right now is John Allen. You can see him there in that beautiful Lamborghini on the right-hand side.
It's a little bit of a cut course, too.
You can cut a lot there coming out of that bus stop, and the moment you go too far, you'll be heading for a slowdown.
As the GTE field starts going into the pit lane, oh, that was right in front of our leader. And oh my goodness, he is sending it into the pit lane. Well, that's a race, and he's got to actually get onto the brakes to get behind the GTE to get into this pit box first, because this is a
pit entry was always the most exciting part of the race.
Oh yeah, pit entry is always an exciting part of the race. Have you seen a race at Indianapolis? Like, those pit entries get insane.
So, Yeah, so take a look as everyone's now working their way through the pits and through the GTEs and GT3s, getting very busy as you can look at our timing tower there. Everyone jumping around as the pits are a very busy place. I try to keep you up to date as I believe Elvis Rankin has pitted. A lot of drivers have come through the pits already.
Yeah, Rankin just went into the pits, came out. They stayed pretty much the same, and Elvis is so far away that nobody really got back in front of him. As here's Elvis right now getting past Rainer Haran, just cruising by, and that Porsche is just looking so clean. No drama at all. Gets a little flash of a light saying thank you for not making that hard for me.
The one thing I'm actually surprised at is that Mike Dam seems to have had a bit of trouble in that pit exchanges. He was only about 4 to 5 seconds behind Elvis Rankin just a couple laps ago. He's lost about 10 seconds of ground there through that whole pit exchange, whether it's a traffic issue or something else. He's lost quite a bit, though, so we'll have to keep our eyes on
he was an entire second slower in the pit stop. The entire pit stop, Mike Dam was... Actually, no, it was 4 seconds slower the entire time. He had a very long pit stop as well for Mike Dam. Might have got held up on pit exit by another class of a car.
Could have been. That's unfortunate for him because, again, he was running a very solid second place in that class. Now he's going to have to fight to try and catch up to Cameron Martineau. He's not going to make it easy on him. Cameron right now has got the second spot behind Elvis Rankin. Elvis Rankin, I don't want to say he can cruise, but he can kind of cruise. He can certainly pick and choose how he lets the faster class by. Ooh, that's getting dicey.
Deolio got very loose right there in the braking zone. The Corvette, not a big fan of the brakes. The mid-engine curse, I must say. It likes to get a little bit loose right there. But he's definitely got the speed on the straight. He's got the draft. And Deolio looking for that outside line. It's a Corvette on Corvette battle right now. The Flying Tortoise part of Russ Ruddick side by side heading into the bus stop. Early breaks up for Russ. He's going to let Deolio take that spot. I just can't get enough of the C8R. I know if Peter was here, him and I would just be talking about the GTEs, and I could tell you Dennis and Alex would just like force it onto another car. We'd still be talking about the GTE. Just this car.
Well, I could say they seem very quick in this race, although like we've been talking about, we know that the Porsches are dominating the class tonight, but they certainly look competitive. They look like a lot of fun to drive out there. I'd be interested to see if some of our competitive drivers, because it's the same names that we see at the top in the, with Mike Dam and Cameron Martineau and Elvis Rankin. I'd be curious to put those guys in one of these Corvettes here and see how they would fare. I suspect that they would be in the front no matter what they drove.
Yeah, we saw that in actually the sports car series last week when they all switched to the BMWs, and it was pretty much the same order, but like some drivers just like driving something different, and some drivers like driving their own brand. I know the Cup guys, they all drive what they drive in real life. I drive a Camry Cup car. Okay, I tried to drive a Camry Cup car. I need to make that correction if you know me.
I'm just glad you were able to admit on the air that you drive a Camry.
1999 V6. She still runs like a beauty, I must say.
But do you have a Camry corner, and do you know what a Camry corner is? If not,
no.
You need to go look that up.
No, you tell me right now.
You need to go look that up.
I'm guessing it's
Have you ever seen the rear bumper of a Toyota Camry and how they're always dented on one side? You have not seen a Camry corner.
I have. My Camry was dented on the right side. Are we talking about the exact right thing?
Like, you know exactly what that is. All right, so turning our attention back to racing as these GTE Corvettes continue to battle side by side, entering the infield. They're continuing to go at it here with Ashton and Ruddick. But they've got company.
Yeah, they got Derek Holland right behind him, and Holland, well, he's about to haul through them right there. But I gotta
He's being
watch
patient.
out. Yeah, Derek is just being patient. He's currently sitting 7th right now, down through the field, so he's just letting them do their own thing, and he's just waiting for the oval, and that's a smart move right there.
Yeah. No need to break up their battle right now. He's not battling with anybody. He knows that whether he gets by or not, he's probably not going to change his outcome too much. So he may as well let these guys have at it.
That's a risky line for Russ Ruddock.
Yeah, generally the slow cars stay low and give the LMP2s the high line, but he wanted the high line for defensive purposes, perhaps. And
Here comes Ashton on Ruddock. They're going to side by side, wheel to wheel, and
side draft is a
for
thing.
Aston. Yeah, side draft is a thing. You rarely see it between
there's-
Corvette and Corvette. Very off into the grass right there.
There's
for
a
Ashton.
course cut, perhaps.
That's a slowdown. No doubt about it. That's a slowdown.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah, the second apex. Yep. So that's going to cost him probably a 1 to 2 second slowdown there that he'll have to serve on the fly. That's going to break up a battle that was going very well for us.
It's a very nice battle, but gotta keep within the track limits.
Yep.
Sansuke Kuno in 6th place. Very nicely through the bus stop as there goes Cox around the outside after getting his car slightly repaired. GT3 battle up ahead for 4th place. Carlisle and Bernie. Lamborghini versus Mercedes.
Those Mercedes again. There aren't many of them. There's a couple of the old diehards still sticking to their Mercedes. Haven't jumped over to the Lamborghinis yet.
Yeah, I was one of those guys who would never leave the Mercedes once I first drove that. I really liked the car, but when that Lamborghini came, there's just something about it that I just loved. Probably because I could turn it.
I love the sound of the Mercedes, but I'm partial to that grumble of that big AMG motor up front. It just sounds so good.
I like my Italian cars, even though
they're
it's not
German?
Italian anymore. But the museum is still in Italy, so
It is.
and Lamborghini was once American.
So just keeping in mind with the LMP2s at the top, one of the things I want to note is with Whitworth sitting in 2nd, 5 seconds behind Angelis, he's made up quite a bit of ground.
Cox just went to the pits again.
Cox has to go to the pits again. Well, we know they have to pit twice.
No, he just did his 2nd stop.
He did a 2nd stop. Whitworth has to do a 2nd stop. He was the one who came out the worst of the front runners there in the first stops. If I go and look, his pit time was about the same as everybody else's, but I mean, he just had a pit lane time that was kind of slow. He's going to have to pick that up in the 2nd stop. He can't afford to have another slow pit lane time here in the 2nd stop.
Yeah, and he's got to pick a good in-lap reason to the pits. So 3rd place in the LMPs goes into the pit lane. And, that was a pack. That was with Parker right there.
And with them stopping now, I suspect that they all took about the same amount of fuel, considering their pit stops were all similar times before. So they should all be stopping now around the same time as well.
Jennifer Donald trying to chase down Kernan as Kernan got a good move around Haran right there. And gave him a little bit of advantage over the BMW going through that western hairpin. But now that they both cleared that Lamborghini, kind of let that BMW beast roar. As here's Arthur Chan coming out of the pit lane. Sitting in 4th, and that's right behind Jeff Jacobs. And he's got Reeves on his tail, and he's going to send it around the outside. Jeff Jacobs goes around.
Jeff was trying to get out of his way and grabbed a little bit too much green grass. Track isn't wide enough to give that much room.
Yeah, that Mercedes is very tough, so I don't think Jeff's going to be very affected by that, but he's definitely not going to be happy that that's happened. If you're watching this face cam, you get to see the sigh that he just let out.
Yeah, he was not thrilled with his performance on that one.
Look at this battle for 4th place now in the LMP2s. Chan, Reeves, with Cox right behind. And this is looking a little bit like deja vu.
I was going to say, didn't we just do this about 20 laps ago? Because we're doing it again.
Yeah, it ended a little bit differently than we wanted it to. But these guys still continuing on. Nose tail with each other. A good run for Reeves. Is he looking on the outside? He is going to look on the outside of Chan. Side by side, they're going into turn 1. Reeves around there. They almost touch.
Oh, he's right under his tail. Right under there.
Right in the diffuser.
It's got to change his handling, too. You get right underneath his wing like that?
Oh, yeah. A lot of dirty air can happen. And I know how much ground effect these cars use, and that helps their handling. But when you put your splitter underneath the diffuser like that, ooh, even in such a slow quarter, that will make the back end of your car just a little bit unstable.
Yep, and you're going to have... it's going to have Dean Cox right there as they come out onto the oval again. He should have just a little bit of draft. He'd be really close to the draft by the time they come into the bus stop. He's close. Still keeping our eye up on this front two to see when they choose to take their stop. As we're coming into just under 20 minutes to go in this race.
Ryan Reeves with that bus stop, making it look nice. Tossing up a little bit of dirt here and there. You don't want to do that. Don't want to do that over and over again. I know in real life you continue to do that. You're going to build a divot, and I've seen some funny incidents with a divoted hole with a pitchfork, and they hit that divot and they kind of flipped.
Looking down our leaderboard there, looks like Mike Dam continues to struggle at times in this race. As Kernan now has made up some ground on Dam with McDonald on his tail. So you got McDonald and Kernan closing ground quickly on Mike Dam there in GTEs. There's a podium spot there up for grabs between them, and with Kuno just again. So you got about 2 seconds from Kuno to McDonald, a little over a second McDonald to Kernan, and then about a second and a half Kernan to Mike Dam. So between the four of them, you got about 4.5 seconds. There's a tight battle there for that last podium spot.
Yeah, 15 minutes separates them as you
And
see.
there goes Kernan.
Yep. Kernan.
Something's up with Mike Dam in his car right now.
Did he get a slowdown?
I'm wondering, but he's been slow here for a little bit. I don't know if
Wrong
there's
engine
damage on
though?
that car?
I don't see any damage.
Either. Oh yeah.
Oh no, there is
Yeah, yeah.
damage. Look at the back left.
Yep. Yeah. So he's definitely limping that car along. So that's why he's way off at his pace. He's going to continue to struggle there, as he's now falling behind McDonald, and then Kuno's going to probably double him up here in a second as well.
Staying out. Surprising, but new third place driver of the GTEs, Kernan, sitting there as here comes Jennifer McDonald trying to chase him down. Now we got to fight for the podium. Last spot on the podium as Tyler Gilmet goes into the pits for the LP2s. Andrew List and Whitworth have stayed out. Big block for one of the cars out there. It was a Corvette. We're looking at the fight for third place in LMP2 between Reeves and Chan. And the LMP2 field, there's only 8 of them, but they've been so tight with each other throughout this race. Even had a little bit of an incident, and they're still racing with each other. As that's a daring dive for Reeves, trying to get any advantage on Chan. And that's gonna hurt. That's gonna help him a lot. Just going down the inside Chan.
It was risky. A little bit of risk, but the reward was there for sure.
Well, definitely. The risk definitely paid off for Ryan Reeves, but he's still within that draft range of Chan right behind him. So it's just a little bit of a payout, but hey, if you get a little bit of payout here and there, you're going to be going home to the bank filthy rich.
Yeah, that
Mike
damage
Tam-
there. He's
Yeah,
got the whole
it's-
left side of the car as he's now getting passed by Kuno.
I'm surprised he's still staying out, but only with 14 minutes remaining, I can kind of see the point of not really gonna try to get this repaired, because I feel like that's going to be more than enough time to just end the race in there, and I think he wants to end this race while driving, because it's going to be a hard race for him to continue on, but he's a fighter.
Out there, Nathan Manning and his Porsche. Currently running in 9th here. He'll also be one of those to be gobbling up Mike Dam here shortly, as he's just about 8 seconds behind him. We got Jason Allen and Travis Schwenke there in front of him, as he's got Schwenke right in front of him.
Schwenke's 3 seconds behind Allen right there. And we got an incident under review for cars 33 and 62.
Greg Brockway and Kyle Burney. A couple of GT3 cars there.
Now, the GT3 field's still tight with each other as, Greg Brockway has gone into the pit lane. Schwenke still...
big slide.
No, Manning!
Didn't make the contact to the wall, but he's going to lose a lot of ground.
Oh, yeah, Manning dropping down to 10th place, gets back onto the bus stop, but... Oh, that must hurt for right there as Tony Kernan in 3rd place, round the outside of Bernie right there. Big lockup on the left side as McDonald closes in on Tony. Andrew Liss has not gone into the pits yet again, and neither has Whitworth. And we got a replay right here on board of Manning as it's just an easy mistake to make, just on the turn in, just a little bit too aggressive off the brakes, and just pops loose. Rear-engine cars, if you get the pits, if you get the brakes wrong, they'll go out on you. And there goes List and Whitworth into the pit lane. So we're going to see if the undercut works for a few of these drivers who went in earlier.
Keep our eye on this right now, as these guys are both kind of in. Who can get the good in lap? As we've seen Whitworth struggle on his in lap and his out lap before. He had virtually the same pit time as everyone else, but he had lost several seconds on his in and out. We'll see if he can make up for that this time through, as he's now in at the same time as Andrew List. Some of the guys behind them have already taken their stop with Reeves and Chan and Cox. Here we got a good battle going on in our GTE Corvettes.
Oh, was that a Corvette?
Oh.
It was Russ Ruddick.
Yeah.
Russ Ruddick was sideways and
Parked
Andrew.
there. Ooh, that's a dangerous spot.
That is not where you want to be. And while that was going on, we have a new overall leader in the LMP class. Brian Reeves has taken over the lead, and right behind him, Arthur Chan is on his tail. And Brandon Whitworth in the background, I don't know if you saw that, was off as well. But Andrew List and Brandon Whitworth have fallen down the field as they were trying that shorter pit stop. As here's that replay of Russ Ruddick, just a self-spin right there. And he's just stuck there. Nothing he can do. And this is what, speaking of nothing he can do, Andrew List, nothing he can do right there. Sitting on the outside of that Lamborghini, almost gets contact right there.
Nice save.
Very nice. He saved him.
Yeah, it's dancing with it.
Oh, man, that is an aggressive dance partner. Andrew List managed to survive that crazy situation. But a pit stop strategy working gold right there for Brian Reeves.
Has Reeves stopped twice?
Now he has.
Yes.
But Arthur Chan now takes over the
That
lead.
was my other question, right? So Arthur Chan,
he's done his second stop.
he has
So
done
has
his
Dean Cox.
Everyone
And
else has done their second stop, and I'm trying to figure out.
lap 27.
Looking at the numbers, yeah, they did. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong for Andrew List.
Pit exit, pit in. He
may have taken tires. Yeah, he may have taken tires.
He did take tires. 37 seconds in the box.
I wonder if he had not unchecked tires for his second pit stop.
Whitworth did exactly the same thing.
Because with 8 minutes to go in the race, you wouldn't think he would need fresh tires. But if you forget to uncheck that box when you're in, between two pit stops, normally your strategy is you set your pit strategy while you're queuing up in the grid, right? And your second stop, you don't normally have to go.
Tyler is around. He's on the wall of the international hairpin. Whitworth and List jumped up into third and fourth now, as Tyler, the number 5th, almost gets his nose chopped off right there. That was, ooh. Santinelli goes wide in that Lambo, and here's a replay, and that's Tyler and Andrew List right here. And back end.
This is at the other end. This is at the west portion.
West.
Yep.
They're the same corner to me. They both turn right. They're both 180 degrees. Okay. I suck at both, so.
They are not easy corners.
Yeah.
Actually, very difficult track to master. It's a lot of practice at this place.
And Andrew List, new fast lap, 133.156.
He may be on fresh tires.
He is definitely on fresh tires, putting in a time like that, but he's just so far away.
Just a handful of laps to go. That's going to be tough to make up any ground on Arthur Chan and Dean Cox out in front of him.
It's just a very big mistake, and something that you just overlook as a driver because you have to go into the black box, turn off the tires. I know a few of the drivers have a keybind set to a button that say no tires, and I know some of the button boxes sold at Ricmotech actually do that for you, and I definitely know Kevin Ford with that spaceship setup that he's got definitely has full fuel, half fuel tires on, right side, left side, up there, and switches all over the place. As Whitworth is spun around now.
Oh, it's gone from bad to worse for him.
That's a second spin coming out of the pits.
You go from having a chance to win this race to suddenly you're spinning 2 laps after your stop where you didn't mean to take tires, and suddenly you're in 5th and 20 seconds down. Not what you meant to do. But the battle wages on here for this third and final spot in GTEs, as Kernan is going to have a battle on his hands from Kuno, and as we're watching here in Jennifer McDonald, this battle is far from over.
Far from over indeed. As a little bit of a positioning for McDonald, just looking down the inside of Kuno, is looking around the outside now. But remember, gotta look behind you. You got that LMP right there, and you got the GT3 in front of you. And we got a big situation. McDonald has to go a little bit wide. It says a big send by Whitworth.
She's going to lose a little bit of ground to her competitor in front, but she was kind of in a bad position. She had really no choice with that LMP2 behind her. And now she's unfortunately stuck behind the GT3 as well.
And speaking of Whitworth, this is how he got down into 5th place again. Around he goes, coming back out onto the oval, and I just got to say, that part of the track is super slick. I know they removed the bump on the apex, which...
Oh, look at that squirrely.
Almost had it again.
So slippery, so twitchy coming around that... You want to turn in hard, you want to get the power down early, but the car just takes a little bit of a squirrel, and next thing you know, you're kind of loose a little bit. Oh, so much power, too. It's so hard to control.
Yeah, the LMP2, one thing it does have, it has a lot of power, and it's just so unfortunate every time you just get a little bit too aggressive on the throttle, and then you get a nice little wiggle back there, and You see Jose DeOlio getting a big run on Ashton right now as they come across the line. 4 minutes left here at Daytona in the Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics.
Great paint schemes on these two Corvettes these guys are running tonight. These things look so good under the lights here in Daytona, don't they? And bright colors. Looks awesome.
Yeah, gotta love bright colors in the night. Just, they pop. They really do just pop. And the Mad Moose Media Card. I always love an animal on the hood. But I'm also a fan of abstract shapes on the hood as well.
Got it all. You can. Oh! And that was. I was gonna say he ran a little bit wide there.
Yeah.
DeOlio didn't quite make that corner.
He does what I do in practice, just though every time I do that in practice.
Well,
Because
overall leader with now just about 2 minutes to go.
Now Arthur Chan with a pit stop on lap 27. He took a very early pit stop. He was doing what you were saying. He did 8 gallons of fuel, and then he went in for that extra 8 gallons. He's going to try to finish on 0.00. And the undercuts is working phenomenal for him. He's leading by 6 seconds with 2 minutes to go. Arthur Chan has got, well, he was calm and collected last time we saw him, barely a smile on his face. I gotta say, we need to go into that face cam when it comes to the 1 hour 15.
He should get white flag next time by.
Yeah, there's Arthur Chan right behind Brockway as he's looking down the inside. Brockway giving him a little signal saying, I'm just going high, you take down low, you enjoy this. And it is Arthur Chan in the lead, leading Dean Cox, who also did a undercut strategy as well, Andrew List, and this is strategy masterclass right here. Just playing a little bit of risky, and
it works
it
only
works.
if he can make it one more lap on fuel.
This is true. this is actually true, and you know, if I continue to talk like this might go into a massive commentator's curse, but everyone's getting out of this way. White flag is in the air for Arthur Chan.
All right, and then the battles behind will also be getting the white flag. And so in the GTEs, you've got Elvis Rankin. We haven't talked much about the man, the myth, the legend here tonight. He's got a 6-second lead over Cameron Martineau and Tony Kernan, currently your top 3. Tony Kernan still being chased and harassed there by Kuno and McDonald there, but Kernan currently in the 3rd spot. We have not talked much about our GT3s tonight.
Yeah, our GT3 class has been very well behaved. At the start, they were pretty tightly contested, but when the LMP2 and GTEs came through, they just separated that entire field, and kind of the same story with the GTEs.
And to be honest, it's difficult at times to follow with the timing tower, with the lapping that goes on, but I believe it's John Allen still in the lead in that class.
It is.
Followed by Kevin Carlisle.
By 6, Kyle Burney, actually.
It's
in second.
It's hard to tell, you know, because as one crosses and then they're lapped and not lapped and unlapped and things. But we'll get the full rundown.
Oh, there's the smile. There's the head nod. He's realizing that he's done it. Arthur Chan.
Has he got fuel?
He's leaning forward like he's leaning forward like to give it a little bit more momentum. But Arthur Chan, he's done it. Look at the smile. Calm, cool, collected. Has gave him the win. There's the fist. Arthur Chan wins it for Axon Driving Solutions here at the Ricmotech World Challenge at Daytona.
Yeah, it's a great win. And as you mentioned, he did it by timing his pit stops right, as well as driving and staying clean. GTE, as always, no stranger to the victory circle there, Elvis Rankin. And in the GT3s,
the 101 stealth bombers side by side of Defined Auto Works. John Allen put on a masterful performance with the GTEs. Led it from start to finish after the, led it start to finish after the pole sitter got a EOL. The stealth bomber Lamborghini takes the victory here in GT3s. What a race, but Arthur Chan pulling out a masterful strategy to take the most underdog win we were expecting here, because it was just list all the way. And then that incident happened behind him in the bus stop. We thought no one could touch list right there.
Right, I completely would have said this is this race to win, and I'll be curious to hear what happened to him there, but I don't want to take anything away from Arthur Chan. He absolutely deserved this. It's a great win for him. Great way to kick off the first round of the World Challenge Series. It just, I'm excited for the rest of this season, and what great racing we had tonight.
Yeah, fantastic race and a fantastic beginning to the World Challenge, that I gotta say. Immediately. I don't want to pick favorites of the Ricmotech series, but it's up there. Like, man, I can't. Whew.
All right, so before we run through the order, let's take a quick throw to the sponsor here, and we'll come back with the results in just a few minutes.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And welcome back to Daytona and the end of the first round of the Ricmotech World Challenge Series, and we've got our results starting out with the LMP2 class and taking the win in the debut race in the Accident Driving Solutions LMP2 car. It's Arthur Chan with the win there. In the second spot, it's Dean Cox, and coming home in third on that podium, Andrew List. In fourth, Tyler Gillamette. In fifth, Brandon Whitworth. In sixth, Brian Reeves. In seventh, Derek Holland. And in eighth, Chad Parker. Over to our GTE class. We're taking the win over there in the Porsche in the Orion Racing. It's Elvis Rankin. In the second spot, it's Cameron Martineau, and winding out the podium is Shunsuke Kuno in the Aquila Racing Porsche for him. In the rest of the results there, Tony Kernan in fourth, Jennifer McDonald in fifth, Jason Allen sixth, Travis Schwenke, Mac Miller, Nathan Manning, Mike Dam, Evan Wood, Jordy Fike, Andre Saunders, Jason Ashton, Jose Duelio, Kevin Ford, Russ Ruddick, and Baron Glover, rounding out your GTE results. On to GT3, and GT3, from start to finish, he led the entire way in the Defined Auto Works car. It's John Allen taking the win there. In the second spot, it's going to go to Kyle Burney. In third is Chris Thorman. In fourth spot, Kevin Carlisle, followed by David Payton, Brendan Horan, Steve Daniel, Scott Brooks, Jeff Jacobs, Mike Taylor, Michael Key, Greg Brockway, Edgar Sancinelli, Jason Burney, Cameron Tucker, Evan Pickle, and Cliff Evan, and Randall McGrew winding out your GT3 results here tonight. And again, what a fantastic race that we had here for the opening round, the inaugural round for the Ricmotech World Challenge Series. And we're going to talk to a couple of our drivers here tonight. And I want to start out right with our overall winner, the man who came from behind to take the win in LMP2. Let's start out with Arthur Chan. And Arthur, we had a great shot of you with your webcam there tonight. First, I got to congratulate you on the win, but the elation that you showed there coming across, what does this mean for you to win the inaugural round of the World Challenge race?
It means a tremendous amount. I've been racing in the Ricmotech Extreme Motorsports League for I think about 2 years now, and through different series. The crew there put on a fantastic league. Just makes iRacing and racing with these fine gents so enjoyable. So it means a lot to me to get my name under the win column on one of these races.
Yeah, absolutely. There is some fantastic drivers, some really high quality, strong talent in these fields. We see it every week. So you're absolutely right. Putting your name alongside some of that talent, it's got to mean something. A lot of action in tonight's race, not only side-by-side racing, but to getting through some of that traffic. Walk me through some of those moments that you had that helped you stay into this race without completely losing it. There are a lot of opportunities out there tonight.
Well, it's definitely quite a roller coaster of the race. I was hoping to do quite well just due to my pace in the practice sessions leading up to this. So I was really quite disappointed to lose the car in the second horseshoe. I just had a bit of a brain cramp and took a first gear corner in second. After that, the damage wasn't too bad, but I was eager to get in to get some repairs. Just kept in contact with the cars in front of me. Traffic was all good. I think a lot of years of experience in multi-class, knowing when to back off. I know some of my competitors had some incidents with GT cars coming out of the bus stop. I noticed sometimes you just have to give them 2 car lengths. You're not going to get past, and you just need to slingshot past them. But overall, yeah, didn't have too many close calls. I had the one, I forgot who it was, who made contact in front of me on the bus stop exit, and that sent me, gave me a meatball flag I had to go into. And I was very lucky that it was just within the last pit window, and I just barely had enough fuel to finish off the race.
Yeah, we were speculating on how much fuel you had. If you were kind of, as you were breathing a sigh of relief coming out of the bus stop the last time, if you were kind of encouraging the car on to get across the finish stripe a little bit there. But great strategy there with the pit stops, as you mentioned, trying to get the repair there early, but also a bit of an odd off sequence from your competitors. Do you think that helped you a little bit too in taking the different pit stop strategy and not necessarily stacking up with the rest of the LMP2 guys?
It definitely did. Something I actually noticed was I was losing more time in the pack trying to get past traffic because the drivers, I found that when I was in a pack of 3 cars, we're just kind of fumbling our way past the traffic, and I found that when I was alone, I was being able to manage traffic much better. So that was a big part. The repair was one, and the pace. I just thought I could run a better average pace, which it turned out I could by running by myself instead of with the pack.
Yeah, a lot of those kind of lessons learned paying off for you tonight, and you got the win in the inaugural World Challenge race. Congratulations, and looking forward to seeing you again in the next race in a couple of weeks.
Thanks very much, Larry. Just one final thing. I just want to dedicate this win to a friend of mine, Michael Denham. He's a great person in the iRacing community and in the local motorsports community here in Vancouver, Canada. And he tragically went missing last summer, so I'm running this series with his name on top of my door just below my name. So I definitely feel his spirit with me, and he would have been so happy with this.
Well, it's great, and hopefully a lot of folks are right there with you on that one. So, right, thanks, Arthur. Congratulations again.
Thanks, Larry.
All right, so let's move on to our GTE winner. Let's go with Elvis Rankin joining us here. Elvis, jumping into GTEs here. Elvis, you had none of these races are uneventful. You had a pretty good margin starting out pretty early, but then definitely had to make your way through traffic. Walk me through your race a little bit tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race indeed. It was very intense towards the end of the race. There was some wreck avoidance challenges that I had to do, but yeah, kept the nose clean, just kept consistent pace, and it was definitely a good practice for the Daytona 24 coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of good practice for that here tonight. Yeah, I noticed that a couple of times you're finding yourself where you're catching a GT3, but at the same time trying to watch your mirrors for an LMP2. That adds quite a bit of that extra flavor where they all tend to come together. Did that help that you didn't even have your own class to have to deal with those moments, allow you to kind of pick and choose that? Whereas if you were getting pressured by Cameron or by Mike Dam, that would have made things a lot more interesting in those moments?
No, I think it would have been the same. I think, obviously they're going to try and apply the pressure and try and force me into a mistake, but just being patient with it and forcing them into a mistake, just not cracking, and it's just, I like to be nice and smooth, patient with traffic, not really go into passing zones where I shouldn't be, and I think I did a good job of that tonight. There was a couple of hairy, scary moments with traffic, but besides a couple near misses, I think I did all right.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like a good, clean race for you. Great way to start out the season, maximizing your points on your first race of the season here in the World Challenge race. So congratulations on getting in that inaugural win. Anybody you want to thank here tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank our Ryan race team and Rossi St. Clair for giving me the opportunity. My teammate Mike Dam tonight in the Porsche made a lights out setup, and we were just... Mike is kind of our setup guy, and he helped out our Corvette guy of Travis Schwenke, and he's been helping us out on the setup so much, and I definitely didn't want to leave him hanging in the RSR this season, so I wanted to come help him out. I want to thank our team sponsors, HP Pedals, and Mark and Joel Real Timing, and Joel for just sponsoring our team. Without those guys, we wouldn't be doing as well as we do. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa for just supporting me with all the things in real world and all those kind of racing, sim racing, real racing. I want to thank my Twitch stream tonight for just tuning into the stream and just giving me confidence and just making it fun, making the race fun, which really is here for. So thank you to those guys, Stream 99 and Ricmotech for putting on the league, the admins, Kevin, Jeff, and Ryan for just putting this whole deal on. Without those guys, this wouldn't be possible. And then you guys at Apex Racing TV for broadcasting the whole thing tonight.
Appreciate it, and I think you did a great job, and always great to see your excellent precision racing out there, and looking forward to see you next week, of course, in the next series up.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks, Elvis. And let's talk quickly then to also our third winner tonight in the GT3s, John Allen. Hey, John, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on getting the win tonight in the GT3, jumping into the Lamborghini tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, new territory for little Mazda guy here, but it worked out pretty well. Call it beginner's luck, I guess.
So being the slowest of the field tonight, but you still had your own battle to fight, did you find yourself really doing a lot of mirror driving with the other cars coming up and the 40-some cars out there on this track? It got a lot of traffic, pretty intense out there tonight.
Yeah, I was definitely playing it cautious. I spent so much time trying to get acclimated to the car over the past week because it's what I'll be driving in the 24 hour as well with some friends, and never had driven it to that point. So being in the slowest class was ideal, but I hadn't taken the time to figure out pit speed limiter and how to flash my lights and all the things that are involved in this class that are not when driving the Mazda. So it was all I could do to just kind of figure out the fuel and get through, and that I nearly butchered. I realized I was a little short, or likely to be a lap short after the pit stop. So I backed it down from the 145 range to the 144 range, or vice versa, from 144s to 145s. Just thinking I could manage that gap until it was down inside 2 seconds again, and then I'd either have to have saved enough or have to save, behind, switch places, grab P2 and draft and see if I could get it back by the end. And it was made a little bit easier, I guess, by the penalty applied there. So if it's not beginner's luck, it's something when you figure 3 of the top 4 positions had penalties tonight, and I think I only won because I didn't.
Yeah, we were definitely watching that early in the race, especially the penalties being handed out. We're just getting handed out left and right. But there's something to be said about by avoiding that kind of carnage and keeping yourself clean throughout a race tonight. And you do that, and sometimes it pays off, and you're able to get yourself a victory. Good, solid race, get one in the books, and queue up for the next time out. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Congratulations on the win tonight. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, just glad to be welcomed into another part of the series. I knew all three have been running for a while, but I've been focused just solely on the one and made a commitment this year to try and run all three. I missed running the TCR last week, but you will see me there in the sports car series as well before the season's out. So I'll try and diversify a little bit. And as always, thanks to Ricmotech and Stream 99 and you guys for putting this on. Don't have an official sponsor on either of the cars besides the Mazda yet. We'll try and get that straightened out by next time.
Excellent. Looking forward to that. All right. Thanks, John. And we'll see you next week for sure.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks. All right. So I think that's going to do it for our interviews tonight. What a great way to kick off this World Challenge season here in 2021. So our next round's up for the next couple of weeks. Starting out in next week, we're at Watkins Glen for round 2 of the Classic Sprint Series. And so don't miss that one. A week later, we're going to still be at Watkins Glen. We're going to be there for the Sports Car Series. And the following week after that, back for the World Challenge. That time we'll be at VIR. So there's your next 3 rounds in the Ricmotech Pro Forma Elite Texas Graphics Series. Don't miss any of those. It's going to be exciting racing, as always. Top-notch stuff. And looking forward to it, as always. So for Austin Knight and Alex Simpson and Dennis Branch, I'm Larry Lefty McLeod. And thank you all, and have yourselves a good evening.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.